Laura Bast, Assistant Editor at Cape Breton University Press. And joining me here today is A.J.B. Johnston. He was a historian at the Fortress of Louisbourg for 23 years and has written a lot of history books and a lot of history articles, but he recently ventured into the world of fiction. So in October 2012, CBU Press published Thomas, A Secret Life, a fictional account of the real historical figure, Thomas Pichon. So John Johnston joins me here today to discuss his new novel. So welcome, thanks for coming.
Glad to be here, Laura.
So tell me a little bit about writing fiction for the first time after writing history books for so long. What did that transition look like?
It wasn't easy in the beginning because you're not allowed to make up personages and you're not allowed to invent dialogue when you're writing history. But I was drawn to this particular character right from the start. And by the start, I mean 25 or so years ago. I came across this figure and I thought, wow, that's an interesting character, the kind of life he led. I'd like to write a novel about him someday. And so that time has finally come. I do still write history on the side, but I throw a switch in my brain, if you like, so that it allows me to write fiction as well and try and create compelling characters that have a sort of a constant wheel of motion going on in the story.
I want to talk a little bit about the creation of atmosphere in your novel, and that might tie into the difference between writing history and writing fiction. So how did you, I think you do a really great job of creating atmosphere. You know, we not only picture the scenes really well, but we can hear them and almost smell them at times too. So did that have something to do with the detail of writing fiction or versus writing history, or how did you?
Yeah, well, one of the dictums in writing fiction is supposed to be write what you know. And since I'm a historian of the 18th century, that's my specialty, I followed that and I decided to try and channel everything that I know about the 18th century, not everything, but everything that I found that was useful into this story. So I think one of the layers of the novel is that people can learn a great deal about the smell, about the scents, about the clothing, about the transportation, about hygiene, about the grittiness of life. And I think that's one of the layers in the story, is that it has I really set out to create an atmosphere and a mood. It's not just atmosphere and mood, but the atmosphere and mood is there. And then within that atmosphere, the story, I like to think, moves along at a pretty good pace. There's many different sort of basic forms of the novel, and I've married two of them in this book, I think. Mm-hmm. One is the coming-of-age novel, and the first couple of chapters are that with the central character, and married into that is a journey, and many novels are journeys, and so this particular character and the other players in the book are on journey through time and journey through their lives. So it's sort of a little bit of a coming of age that becomes a journey. When I began it, the most important thing to me was the mood and the atmosphere. I wanted it to have a tone and a voice. And I haven't strayed from that, even though I began this project 25 years ago. It still has the same tone and the same voice to it. And that was one of momentum and of mood. It had to have an atmosphere that was a little bit, something's looming. Looming in terms of action, but also looming in terms of a threat or a menace. And I think it still has all of that. Mm-hmm. But it does also have some lighthearted moments and some actual things where people might laugh. Mm-hmm. At least I hope they do. Mm-hmm. Because it's got to be well-rounded. It's not monochrome. I think it's polychrome. And so I certainly hope that people will see it for the range of emotions and the range of moods and atmospheres that it has.